Athletic, bold, commanding, the Equinox EV from Chevy helps you show up in style. Though looking good on the golf course is still up to you. If it's the distance that you're after, Equinox EV offers 319 miles of EPA estimated electric range with front wheel drive. This show today is brought to you by Chevy, as every show is brought to you by Chevy here at the Foreplay podcast. You know, it's 4th of July week, so we get into what just happened at the Rocket Classic. We've got some Pádraig Harrington and Stuart Sink, dramatic finishes. We've got some Roger Maltby drama that happened out there on the U.S. Senior Open Tour circuit. It's just a great, just middle of the summer podcast with Trent Daddy and Frankie Borelli here.
Yeah, it's an American week, 4th of July. This is an American car brand. We do some hypotheticals at the end. We get into a lot of stuff, but again, it's a very American show, American week, American brand Chevrolet.
Leave the driving to the Equinox EV and show up to the course energized with available Super Cruise hands-free driver assistance technology. The Equinox EV has a massive 17-inch diagonal center screen, the largest of any EV in its class. We love the interior of these Equinox EVs. They just really are a showstopper. Once you get in one, you cannot believe the technology inside there. When it comes to EVs, Equinox EV is the smartest choice that you can make. Make sure you're checking out Chevy. Go drive Chevy. There's women out there now charging $150 an hour to just be Miss Rachel.
You're kidding.
Sorry. $300 an hour.
You're
kidding. You hired that person?
$150 for a half hour to come back there and be like, hi.
What?
Hello.
You hired that person?
You could have got Mr. Jerry on the cheat, brother. You could have gotten him to fly out and do it.
Welcome back to another episode of Foreplay. It's the Trent and Frankie show. It's 4th of July week. It is America's birthday. What is this, 249 years? Is that where we're at?
That sounds correct to me. I would have to fact check it, but that sounds right to me.
Shout out to Aldrich Potgieter. As Trent said, someone in the gallery this week said, Geeter done.
Potgieter done when he hit a drive.
Potgieter done. He went to a playoff at the Detroit Golf Club against Christian Kirk and Max Gracerman. It was an awesome, awesome little playoff. Went on forever. The guys played a ton of golf, and to be able to grind that out, shout out to a 20-year-old Potgieter. This guy got the stones. His dad's right there. Loving every second of it. I loved it. It was a great tournament to watch. And aside from that, Riggsy Boy, he's out at the Barstool Classic out in Vegas with Ben Mintz, who's playing in the World Series of Poker and sending us updates every single day. Every time Ben Mintz is, I guess, on the trip for the Barstool Classic in Vegas. He obviously booked that so that he could go play in the World Series of Poker. He's in the $1,000 main or whatever mini main. And every time someone sends an update to the group chat, which has like 16 to 17 people in it that are all ranging from event staff to talent people that are going to be driving people to the golf course and back, Ben Mintz is actually giving chip count updates, unwarranted as to how he's playing, what kind of cards he had, exactly how much he's going to be playing for. So that's a fun little update coming from the Barstool Classic group chat. Trent Ryan, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. The Ben Mintz World Series of Poker updates in the Barstool Classic group chat was the number one thing on my agenda to bring up because it literally, I was just going through it as you were talking. Everybody's going back and forth like, all right, well, pick people up from the airport at 7:45, that works great. And then just like a bull in a china shop, a picture of a stack of chips, and Ben Mintz is like, hey, by the way, I'm doing pretty good in the World Series of Poker. I just want a big pot. And then he continued to update throughout the night. That first text came in at 9:15 p.m. The next one came at 10:45 p.m., which, by the way, no one messaged anything in between. No. He got a couple, people pressed down and they liked the picture or whatever. And then the next update came at 2:04 in the morning, yeah, where he said, I'm in the money, 2,000 locked in, time to get hot. Everyone in that group chat is asleep at that point.
Someone said, someone wrote, 7 o'clock registration, range, breakfast opening, 8:20 a.m. announcements and the national anthem, 8:30 a.m. shotgun start. Hey, Rob, if you can bring the guys in your rental, please. Anyone needs anything, I'll be in the hotel lobby at 7:30. His response to that was, I am staying at a different hotel. What time should I plan to be there? And 7:45. And then Taylor Ray said 7:45 works great.
Yep.
Conversation over. He sent a stack of chips picture and goes, yeah, I'm doing pretty good in the World Series of Poker 130 main. Tourney right now. just won a big pot. Day 2 is Tuesday. If I make it, works out great. And then nobody answered. And then, like you said, at 10:45, he goes, dinner break like 300 away from the money. Restart at 8:35 Pacific. And then at 2:04 in the morning, 2000 locked in, time to get hot. Just fucking rolling right now. Nobody's even interacting with it.
I mean, it's Mincy, man. He's gone to a couple of Barstool Classics this year, which we really appreciate. It's always good to see him. He was at the Omaha Barstool Classic, I know, and I think a couple others. He's obviously out there at TPC Summerlin for the Vegas Barstool Classic. So it's great that he goes to the Barstool Classic. Just really funny and very Mincy to be giving. It's like it was his own personal Twitter feed in that Barstool Classic group chat where he was just like, by the way, this is what's going on. I almost wanted to give updates on my life in that chat then. Like,
you have to.
By the way, just ate dinner, like feeling pretty good. Gonna take a shit probably in about 20 minutes, and then I'll probably go to bed.
And he's at the table just buzzing, being like, everyone's asking me what's going on. We're at Barstool Sports, so I always got to update everyone on my life. So holy shit, dude. One in
whatever, however many people there are on planet Earth, he's a one of one. And you see him, it's kind of, I mean, when I saw him in Omaha for the Barstool Classic, it was the week of the College World Series. So that was, again, he was just sort of like, I'm going to obviously be at the College World Series. I'll just pop by the Barstool Classic, which was great. But he's always doing something. He's always on the run. Mincy's just on the run. So he's in our group chat right now, and it's one of the more entertaining things I've had going on in my life in the past 12 hours, for sure.
Like we said, there was a good weekend of golf. Detroit Golf Club seems to always kind of make it entertaining, even though it's not the greatest of leaderboards towards the end. A lot of names that you really wouldn't get too jacked up about. Whenever you get multiple guys in a playoff, it turns your attention on. I mean, a couple, Big Rob in my group chat was like, hey, some free golf going on right now on CBS if anyone wants to turn that on. There's a playoff, and just going shot for shot. There's something about that. It turns it into match play. You know what I mean? Like, you finally get that mano-y-mano golf that we kind of crave leading into the Ryder Cup. That is fun, watching a guy having to answer and having to make the shot, taking the hat off mid-playoff, sending one guy to the locker room, the other guys advance. Very, very cool to me. That was a nice breath of fresh air.
Yeah. The Rocket Classic, it's in a part of the schedule where, summer is very much in full bloom. People aren't necessarily sitting around their TVs on Saturday afternoon watching a ton of golf because they're just out living their lives and having an enjoyable summer. But yeah, a playoff is always good. Especially for a young guy like Potgieter. He's 20 years old. He's a rookie on the PGA Tour. He's a bomber. Like, he could easily be one of the next stars of the PGA Tour. So to see him get a win, to see him do it in such, interesting fashion, I think was, ultimately good for the PGA Tour. I don't know how many people were watching. I don't know what the numbers were, but as far as like a kind of middle of the road, weird schedule event, that's a good winner to have for that tournament.
You see Christian Kirk sitting, crisscross applesauce, waiting for the guys to come down 18.
No,
they were. So he had finished, and he was at 22, I guess it was, and everyone else was kind of finishing up. Maybe he was at 21. But whatever. He's waiting to see if anyone takes the lead, and the last two guys had a chance to win it. They both missed their putts, but they cut back to him, and usually the guy's on the range or he's inside the scoring table or whatever it may be. And they showed him, and he was just sitting crisscross applesauce on the range, kind of like picking dandelions, looking down. It was so elementary. I'd never really seen an adult, athlete sit like that in my entire life. I've seen Danny Rapp sit like that before. There was a couple shots of him at an event once doing that, sitting crisscross applesauce underneath a tree, getting some shade.
I believe Brandon Walker does that during the college
Brandon
football
Walker
show.
does like to do that.
That's what comes to my mind when I think about an adult sitting crisscross applesauce. I don't think I could do it right now. I just don't think I have the flexible capability to sit crisscross applesauce. I think that's in the rear view for me.
How about Kirk has 6 PGA Tour wins? When they flashed that up there, that was a stunning number to me. 40 years old. He's been on tour for a shit ton of years at this point. And this guy, you're telling me, has won 6 PGA Tour wins. Can we fact check that?
We probably should. I know he went on. There was a run a couple years ago where he was just sort of on fire, and then he had that where he battled alcoholism. He had that stretch where it was like we don't know what's going on with Chris Kirk, and then he bounced back and he got a couple of wins. It's actually a really great story.
Yeah, this guy's 6-time winner, PGA Tour.
That's more than a lot of guys. You know, that's 6 more than Tommy Fleetwood, as it's well
That's what I'm
documented on this
saying.
show.
I said that to my father-in-law yesterday. We were watching it. And I'm like, can you believe this guy's won 6 Chris Kirk wins are not to be believed, as our guy Lurch used to say. Like, how hard it is to win a PGA Tour event every week, being able to overcome all those players. And you're telling me Chris Kirk has done it 6 times and it's evaded my memory?
Yeah, no, that's an impressive amount. I mean, if you win once on the PGA Tour, that makes guys' careers. They're just like, oh yeah, I won. There was 1 week where I was just better than everybody else, and I won. He's done that 6 times. Yeah, it's 6. I'm looking at it right now.
He won the Century in 24, the Honda Classic in 23, the Crown Plaza in 2015, the Deutsche Bank in 2014, the McGladrey Classic in 2014, the Mayakoba Golf Club Classic in 2011.
Yeah. I mean, that is pretty crazy, actually. Like, there's so many guys out there who we know their names and they're far more famous than Chris Kirk are, and they don't have 6 wins on the PGA Tour. So many.
Yeah, no, I mean, that just goes to show just how deep this league is. You know, it's unbelievable, the PGA Tour, how many guys can go out there and win on any given day. You talk about the Sky Shufflers, the Rory McIlroys, all these names of all of these shoe-in to win events, and then you've got a guy like Chris Kirk that's done it 6 times over the last 14 years. Pretty good sport. The fact that a guy can be, I don't know, I'm gonna guess that Chris Kirk is 87th in world rankings.
We can look that up. I don't have it in front of me, but we can look that up.
Official world golf rankings. He is number. Oh my God!
You were close.
Okay. Current 61. I saw his best ever was 16. Shout out to Chris Kirk, by the way, man.
Nice little career. Really nice. On the flip side, Patrick Reed won the Live event in Dallas. I saw there was now some buzz about Patrick Reed in the Ryder Cup, which it's
definitely.
What's that?
Put him on.
It's a long shot. I think he even said, he was like, I think I got to win the Open Championship to even get a look from Captain Keegan, but I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of baggage that comes with Patrick Reed in the Ryder Cup. Obviously, everybody remembers the great moments because there's so many, and he really does love that event, and it's really fun watching him in the Ryder Cup just lose his fucking mind. I don't know. That feels like a stretch, and chemistry in that locker room could be a little dicey if you just throw Patrick Reed in the mix.
A little dicey. I mean, the last time this guy played on a Ryder Cup, there was exposés being written.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
People were flocking to the papers, you know, besmudge their teammate's name.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying, like, you have to be a no-doubter. And to be honest, like, Liv, you're behind the 8 ball already. Like, you don't get seen a lot. Not a lot of people are watching. The majors are kind of where you make your bones in terms of a case to be on the team. Bryson has done that in majors, obviously. And Patrick Reed just, you know, it's a name that when you see Patrick Reed and you think Ryder Cup, you have awesome memories of him and Spieth and the hole out and a bunch of stuff. But I don't think it's realistic. But I did see a little bit of that on Twitter yesterday. People being like, let's put him on the team. And as a narrative guy and as a guy who has predicted that at the Ryder Cup at Bethpage Black that someone will get shoved, either a player shoving a fan or a fan shoving a player, throwing Patrick Reed on the team would really help that out. But I don't think it's ultimately going to happen.
Yeah, we're going to have the juice regardless. Having him be like a part, you know, even if it was like if he plays well going to the Open, even if he finishes like top 10, coming off a Live win, it's like when a hockey team is getting hot late going into the playoffs. Like, you got to just keep your eye on that kind of guy because he might be rounding into form right now. Playing some of the best golf. I mean, you look at this American team, there's some names on there that are like, you know, like JJ Spawn's on this Ryder Cup team.
Dude, I think Russell Henley is on the Ryder Cup team right now.
Russell Henley's going to be on this team. Like, there's a lot of names that might be questionable on this. And I know that we've gone away from the shoe-in boys club. If you've been on a Ryder Cup team, that means you're automatically on the next one. They want to pick the best golfers that are playing the best golf right now. You get a guy like Patrick Reed in the mix. Listen, if he didn't win, I never in a million years would be saying his name right now.
All right, I'll give you the top 12 Ryder Cup guys right now in terms of points.
Okay.
Scotty Scheffler.
Done.
Xander Schauffele.
That's a win.
JJ Spawn.
Questionable, honestly.
Russell Henley.
Crazy.
Bryson.
Yep.
Justin Thomas.
also questionable, I guess, but has to be on the team.
Kind of, we talk about him a lot. He's got to be on. He's also like the
Well,
soul.
I'm just talking like the way they're playing too.
Okay.
Yeah. No, he's a shoo-in.
Colin Morikawa,
All over the place right now, but again, a huge name. Can't leave him off.
Ben Griffin, Keegan Bradley, Harris English, Maverick McNeely, Brian Harmon.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Like we don't have the Dustin Johnsons, the Brooks Koepkas, the Patrick Reeds. These are names that have now not made it onto this roster this year. And you got to trust that the depth of USA isn't what it used to be in terms of names. In terms of playing, though, it might be right up there. I just don't know. Like, I don't know how these guys are all playing going into this thing. Obviously, we have another major. We've got the playoffs to come. Guys can keep, making a name for themselves. They can keep putting their name in their hat in the ring, or whatever we like to call it. But yeah, there's a lot of names on there. Maverick McNeely finding his way onto a Ryder Cup team would be outrageous. And don't forget, Keegan gets to pick people, so he doesn't have to go chalk right off the board.
6 qualify, he gets 6 picks on the back end. Yeah, and I mean, the Ryder Cup is such an interesting event in that, like, it is a golf tournament. Obviously, at some point they're just gonna have to put the peg in the ground and play. But the stakes are so different. It's not the Rocket Classic. It's not. It's unlike any actual even majors, PGA, like the players. Like, there's so much that goes into it, and there's so much pressure, and there's so much pressure to win, especially on home soil in New York. Like, you just don't know how a guy like Ben Griffin or any of these guys. Not to point anybody out specifically. It's just like it's more. You're more likely to win if you guys have you trust and guys who have been there before. That's a big part of it, because you get thrown in the Ryder Cup tornado, you might just shit your pants on the first tee. That's what I would do. If I were in the Ryder Cup, it was my first Ryder Cup, and the first one was at Bethpage Black in New York, and they're like, here you go. All right, time to tee off first session. I think I just pooped my pants. So you got to understand, all that stuff goes into it, and that's what we talked a lot about Keegan last week of, like, should he be a playing captain? Should he give the captaincy off to somebody else? Like, all of these decisions he has to make, and on top of that, he would have to play. Like, that's where it gets a little dicey in our eyes. So, as much as I want Patrick Reed on the Ryder Cup team from a narrative perspective, I don't think it makes a ton of sense unless he wins the Open Championship by like 5 shots. Then I'm in.
Yeah, I mean, you go through just off name power. When I say it, does it tickle something in your ball sack?
Okay.
When you go through the European Ryder Cup team, you got Rory McIlroy.
Tickled. I'm at full mast.
Tommy Fleetwood.
So tickled.
Tyrrell Hatton.
Yeah.
Robbie McIntyre.
Yeah.
Shane Lowry.
For sure.
Sepp Straka.
Yeah.
Rasmus Højgaard.
No.
Ludwig Oberg.
Getting there. Yeah. He's handsome.
Justin Rose.
Just like a legend.
Victor Hovland.
Yeah.
These are names. This is what I'm saying. These are
Victor
names.
Hovland made that first. What did he chip it? He chipped in on the first hole in Rome and was like,
Victor Hovland being a 10 guy. Then you got Matt Wallace and Nicholas Norgard. But, there's other guys that are not on that list that will be on that team, including John Rahm.
Right. Huge.
Including maybe Matt Fitzpatrick.
Good one.
Right? So, like, they're just running it back, I think. Like, all those guys are playing good golf. That's the only thing that makes me nervous. Is you look at the American team, and again, you got JJ Spawn, Russell Henley, you've got Ben Griffin, you got Harris English, you got Maverick McNeely. All right, you don't have Sam Burns and Patrick Cantlay in the top 12, or all the Jordan Spieth, Brooks Koepka. You don't have those names. It's just a little bit more nerve wracking. And has the game passed them by? I don't think so. They might just not be having great years this year. Obviously, Brooks is on Live hitting, tee markers, launching tee markers.
Tee markers have gotten like, guys are going after him now.
Is that a way of saying fuck this tournament?
No, I don't think so. I think it's just the nearest thing to me. I'm gonna hit it. That's what it says to me. And I just want to quickly look at the right now, though. What's that?
It's hot in the streets right now.
I know. Guys are just they're teeing off on tee markers. Like, it's the thing to do. And this one, there was a lot of talk on this show about Wyndham Clark at Oakmont and destroying these precious lockers, these historic precious lockers. And, we gave our takes on that. And this Brooks one is a little different. When you are hitting something that then could potentially injure people in the crowd, like, he launched that thing. that gets a little dangerous. If you're in a situation where you're just mad at yourself and you punch a wall and break your own hand, listen, it's stupid as hell, but like at least the only person you hurt is yourself. When you're hitting a T marker and that he really hit that thing pretty hard. I would try to avoid, people taking shrapnel who are just there to watch a golf tournament. And I don't think it hit anybody, to be clear. I'm just saying the potential of it is certainly higher when you just swing really, really hard at a T marker and there's galleries around.
I just don't think people are thinking. They're just not thinking.
And that was my point with the Wyndham thing as well, where it was, you're asking him a question of why did you do this? And it's like asking a guy who's blackout drunk, like, why did he, walk in the middle of the street? It's just like you're just bang, you react and, things happen.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Frankie, when you read off those names on the European Ryder Cup team, one of the things that came to my mind was chemistry. I feel like people talk about chemistry often with that team.
Mm-hmm.
And when you read off the U.S. names, I obviously thought that they don't play together often, but obviously golf's a very individual sport. What is chemistry during the Ryder Cup? Like, is it knowing your playing partner, what they're going to do? Because at the end of the day, right, you're just playing your own ball. But chemistry definitely comes into play because it's a storyline every year. I know the locker room is great and they're all friends and such, but like, how does that translate to the golf course? You guys know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's huge in the Ryder Cup. I mean, we just got done playing the Ryder Cup. So the closest that we could possibly feel the way that they're feeling out there is in our own little Ryder Cup that we've built out. And when you do get paired with someone that you're comfortable with, you play better in that competition. Also, an alternate shot is everything. Chemistry is everything in alternate shot.
Yeah.
Being able to know where guys want to leave it. And that's not to say if Maverick McNeely and Justin Thomas paired up, even if they might not be publicly, teammates throughout other Ryder Cups or other match play events, they're such good golfers that they can work through any sort of, situation on the golf course. If Justin Thomas wants him to hit a certain shot or he wants him to hit a certain shot, they'll just figure it out. They're the best golfers in the world. All these guys can just mash up with anyone at any given time. But when you're playing against the best in the world and the slightest mistake is the difference between a win and a loss, yeah, I think chemistry goes a long way. I think the fact that the European team has found a squad that's been able to all qualify and play, and you got guys like Justin Rose who have kept their level of golf to a level where he's going to be on multiple Ryder Cups, and same with Rory McIlroy, and same with Tommy Fleetwood, and same with John Rahm. All these guys, they're always going to be there in the mix, and the U.S. has had some older guys in the mix that have now fallen off, and then you've got some young guys resurgence. Trying to have like a surge onto this Ryder Cup that really hasn't grasped. We don't have that young Ryder Cup, legend yet. It's all we're still talking Patrick Reed and we're talking Scott Scheffler. Right. You know what I mean? Like Justin Thomas. It's all the same names. And they've got guys like, Ludwig that are coming out of nowhere that like are going to be robots and are winning every single match they play. So I do think there's definitely an argument to be made that the U.S. doesn't have the chemistry, and that's up to Keegan Bradley to build it. He doesn't have much time. It's not like a team sport where you go through development camp and you play a full season and you go into the playoffs. All these guys are playing against each other up until the day they tee it up at Bethpage, essentially.
Yeah, I think it goes back to what I was saying with it's about trust and it's about experience of you're going out there with a guy, whoever you're teamed up with, who has been there before and understands what Ryder Cup pressure is going to feel like. Now it's going to be, it's obviously going to be different because it's a home game for America. So you got to think that it'll be friendlier towards the Americans, but the pressure will still be there. You're still teeing it up with the American flag on your shirt. Like that is a different type of pressure that if you haven't experienced, you just don't know what it's going to feel like until you get thrown into it. Now you could develop maybe a like mentorship in terms of you put an experienced guy with a guy who's playing it for the first time. And that is how you roll out the teams where you're just like, listen, man, I've been in a bunch of these. I know what it's going to feel like. I'll take you under my wing and we're going to take it to these fucking Europeans. That could be one way to do it. But I think chemistry is massively important in the Ryder Cup, and it's up to the teams to figure that out. It is difficult because These guys aren't at summer camp for 3 months before they tee it up. Like, it's just everybody's flying in at one point, and it's like, holy shit, here we are. So it is up to Captain Keegan. It's up to the older guys in the room who've been in a bunch of these to just sort of set the tone of, even if we don't feel like we have a ton of natural chemistry, this is it, and we got to figure it out. And we got the European squad always seemingly is going to have more camaraderie, for whatever reason that is. They just have a better way of, even when it's a new guy. Like, I remember when Thomas Pieters played with Rory in a Ryder Cup, and that was just sort of like, I'm Rory, you're Thomas Pieters, and we're just going to try and figure this thing out. So it's camaraderie is really, really important in the Ryder Cup, and whatever team figures it out best usually wins.
Yeah, that's crazy to me, right? Because it's like you read down the world golf rankings, and it's like, okay, maybe we have the better players, but maybe we don't. But yeah, I think pressure is probably the biggest one too, because I feel like they've all felt it before. Like, every name you read off, Frank, for the Euro team, like, they've felt that pressure before, and it honestly probably doesn't faze them as much as some of these guys, like a Russell Henley or something like that.
I also think the European team is really good at positioning themselves as the underdog, true or not, because it's always, you're just going up against America. And everybody who watches golf or even just sort of casually follows golf is just like, oh, we clearly have the best players in the world. We should just win this thing. When that's not exactly the formula for the Ryder Cup. And I'm sure in that locker room with Team Europe, no matter who the captain is, they're just like, everybody thinks we're going to lose. Certainly you can take that angle going into Bethpage, because I looked on the DraftKings Sportsbook. Team USA is the favorite, not by a ton, but they are the favorite. But I think, in any sport, and we've all played sports at some level, where if you're the underdog, it relaxes everything. The being the favorite is kind of a nightmare, because you're just like, people are expecting us to win this thing. When you can go into a locker room as a coach or a captain and just say, we kind of got nothing to lose. We are the underdogs here, and let's take it to them. I think that's been the message for Team Europe for a long time, and it's worked on occasion.
I've been thinking a lot about this this dopamine stuff ever since I listened to that guy, Andrew Huberman. He talks a lot about how it's all about anticipation. It's the anticipation that revs up that dopamine in your brain. It gets you going, gets you excited, makes you want to strive to something. And then the second that it happens, obviously it drops. But I wonder if there's something about that European team that always has that underdog mentality, that like they don't know what the outcome's going to be, right? It's like Europe versus the world. It's Europe versus America. We are, a group of misfits in their mind. They think we're going to take them from all different countries and we're going to mash together and beat big bad America. And the difference between that outlook and, hey, let's just protect home soil, which is the American kind of way right now, where it's like they're coming to Bethpage, we have to win this thing back. We can't lose. That anticipation is a little bit of a different feeling than like getting on the bus. I talk to guys all the time that play team sports, whether it be hockey or football, basketball, whatever, especially the hockey guys. They say they love playing on the road because there's something about that anticipation. It must be somewhat comparable to what I had heard Andrew Huberman talking about, just in your life when you have anything, whether it's like having sex or whatever. Like, there's always that anticipation feeling. You're like, these guys are they're in the bus and they're like going into the arena. That feeling is just like euphoric to them, as opposed to just being methodical. Hey, I wake up, I go to the trainer, I'm at my home rink, guys are coming in, like, I get my coffee at the same spot. It's a little bit different to get those things going.
Now, I don't think
there is something about being on the road. Now, America had that chance, in Rome, and they got their dicks kicked in. So, but there is something, and we've talked about this a million times, that there's something in the DNA of Team Europe, and I think Riggs alluded to it last show, that they grow up playing match play, and they grow up playing those style of golf courses where they don't care about stroke play. They just care about winning matches and playing two-man teams and the whole deal. Growing up, that's literally all they care about. A lot of these guys on their home courses, they don't even have spots on their card for stroke play. It's literally just one up, one down, all square. That's all they care about is, am I going to beat you today? So it's in their DNA. It's literally how they learn how to play the game of golf. A lot of them are just match play courses. So yeah, it's a daunting task to have to try and like hold up your end of the bargain at home. There's going to be a lot of pressure, and then you're going to have like a Maverick McNeely out there and a Russell Henley and a JJ Spawn. These are not the names, like you're saying, that have been through the storm. There has to be some value on being through the storm.
Right.
And I know that's going to take us right back to like 8 years ago when people were debating who should be on Ryder Cup teams. Should it just be the old guard that's used to it? That's how you keep getting your ass kicked. Or should it just be the guys who are playing the best golf right now, which is the Russell Henleys and the JJ Spahns and the Maverick McNeelys. That is how you construct the best team. But are you taking all the other stuff into account? These are all questions that Keegan Bradley have to answer, and that's why I do think it's extremely difficult to be the playing captain and to be the captain, and also be on the roster. There's so much that goes into all of this. There's so much pressure. Is Keegan Bradley the guy to do that?
I think the answer is you need a mix of both. You need guys who have been there, and you need young guys who are hungry and are just fucking pumped to be playing in the Ryder Cup. And you somehow get a good mix of that, and you go. Because I know what you're saying. You certainly wouldn't want all new guys. You wouldn't want all Ryder Cup virgins on your team. That would be insane. But you also don't want a bunch of old guys who are just they're not at the top of their game. But you don't want to. You need both, is what I'm saying. You definitely need both, and I think that's the best way to go about it. I'm still confident in Team USA. Do you think Team USA is going to win?
I don't know. I'm not. It's not a shoo-in to me. I'm very excited to see them battle their asses off. I think that they're going to play with their backs against the wall a little bit. I think it's going to be that all right, you're coming here. We have to win. I think there's going to be tight ass cheek clenching. I think you got to get over that. That first session is going to be everything. Just don't get your fucking teeth kicked in. Make sure you come out strong. Use the crowd to your advantage. But I do think it's going to come down to the end. I think this thing's going to be a claw back and forth. I don't think we're seeing a win. I don't think we're seeing people popping champagne on like the 15th hole of singles, with other groups out on the golf course. I don't think that's happening. I think this is coming down to the very end. I think the last putt could win this thing.
Man, that's awesome. You know what it takes?
I really do, though. I think it's that tight. I think Europe probably has a better team, like top to bottom. They're coming off a pretty dominating win. And then all of a sudden you see I don't know, USA's team is great. Don't get me wrong. You got really top heavy talent there. You got the best player in the world, this guy is Scheffler. Even guys like Justin Thomas, like we say, no matter how they play, they're always going to play well in the Ryder Cups. I don't know. I just don't feel that confident in this roster as I did going into Whistling Straits. Whistling Straits, it was like, they're going to tee off on these guys. You went off 1 through 12 and you're like, they have no chance. Right. I don't see that anymore. And I don't know what's changed.
There is a part of me, and this is really getting into the nitty gritty of it. But so the first two names I listed off were Scotty Scheffler and Xander Schauffele. Overall, pretty quiet guys, if you think about it. Just like their demeanor is very quiet. Xander's very quiet. Scotty, he can get the fire going, but overall a pretty quiet guy. And I think about the guys who are going to be the leaders in the Team Europe locker room, and it's Rory and Shane and Rahm. And those are just guys who are who will stand in front of a room and be like, this is everything. Everything. If we don't win the, Rory can say, I don't care how many, I just won the career Grand Slam. I don't give a fuck about any of those. All I care about is the Ryder Cup and winning the Ryder Cup and winning for Team Europe. And that speech, I think, would speak volumes to all those guys in the room. Not saying Scotty can't do that or Xander can't do that. It just seems like from the outside looking in, the guys who would stand in front of a room and give a speech like that, Rory and Shane, I think guys have tears in their eyes.
Well, yeah, now you're describing the value that Keegan Bradley has because he's always been that guy, and he's claimed to be that guy. He wants to be that guy in the locker room, so he'll be great for that. I do think that if there is anyone that's going to bring that fire, it's Keegan Bradley. There's nothing like getting to a baseball game, especially last minute, that feeling. We talk about dopamine in this podcast, and we talked about it a little bit last podcast. That anticipation, that lead up, that, hey, what are we doing? You know what? Drop everything. Let's go to a ball game. That is how you get your dopamine levels raised. It's that getting in the car, getting to the ballpark, smelling all of those amazing ballpark smells, the popcorn, the peanuts, the Cracker Jacks. Oh, my goodness. Nothing like going to a ball game. And luckily for us, all at Barstool Sports, we only and always use Game Time to make those last-minute ticket purchases. The official ticketing partner of Barstool Sports is Game Time. Game Time makes getting tickets faster and easier. Prices on the app actually go down the closer it gets to showtime. I'm looking right here. The New York Mets are on an epic slide. I think they've lost 13 out of their last 15. Frank the Tank's gone through 25 different pairs of glasses. You can get into a Brewers-Mets game tomorrow for $9 on that. beautiful Game Time app here in New York City. You got the Yankees, you've got the FIFA World Cup on here, the New York Liberty, the New York Boulders is something that's happening I'm seeing here. So yeah, the Game Time app, not only do they have the games, but they got all the music and all of the shows, everything. Just go there, hit the discover button there, and all these events in your area.
I'm going to be in New York for the 4th of July week. I'm going to Yankees Mets on July 5th, Saturday. I'll be there. And I
goodness.
booked my tickets through Game Time. 100%. Did it yesterday. It's
Yankees
the best.
Mets at Yankee Stadium. Does it get any better than that? Or is that Citi Field?
Citi Field.
Doesn't get so it could get better than that. It could be Yankee Stadium. But yeah, I'm seeing System of a Down. I'm seeing Oasis tickets are on sale. They got 25 events. Nate Dogg just made his way all the way over to Europe to go to the Oasis show, which has been fun. So Game Time. That's the only place you can get these tickets. You can put those savings back in your pocket and spend them at the ballpark, like we said, on a hot dog, new hats, some good old-fashioned Cracker Jacks. What are you waiting for? Make sure you go on Game Time and get those tickets now. And listen up. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time and download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code FORE, F-O-R-E, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code FORE for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. What time is it? Game time. Pro golfers drive for show and putt for dough. The easiest way for you to make some dough, that's betting on this week's tournament at DraftKings Sportsbook. From the opening round through the championship Sunday, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered with live betting, player props, and so much more. If you've never bet on the golf before, it's easier than you think. Just pick something simple like a golfer to win the tourney and make your pick. They also have round one winners. They have top 10s, top 5s. They've got certain matchups to if you like one golfer over another. They've got it all there on the DraftKings Sportsbook. You can build out parlays. You can all these different futures for the tournament. Make sure that you're going on DraftKings Sportsbook. It's the best place to do it. And here's something special for first timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets instantly. That's new DraftKings customers right now will get, if you bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code FORE, F-O-R-E. That's code FORE for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Just to move on real quick about onto Paddy Harrington, talking about a legend. USA losing another one here with Stuart Sink losing the U.S. Open to Pádraig Harrington. It went down to the wire. Paddy ended up beating him by one stroke at the Broadmoor for the U.S. Senior Open. A great event. Pádraig Harrington said, I think one of his quotes was, this really, let me look it up because it was like, this solidifies my career. You know, it's like, it really does. You know, you look back and you see he's won 3 majors and he can go out there later in life and still be able to hoist a trophy. To him, I think that's really, really, it's validating. This is what he says. It kind of validates my career, said Harrington, whose majors come at the 2007 British Open and PGA and then at the 2008 PGA. It validates the past in a lot of ways. You are reliving your past glories, hitting shots, waving to the crowds. People are coming out to see you because they've known you from the past, which is such a great point, right? Like, this guy's still playing really competitive golf. It's the senior tour. It's a major event. It's the U.S. Open. You're playing against a lot of the guys that you played against when you were younger. How old is Pádraig Harrington?
Oh, he's got to be mid-50s now?
58, I'm going to say. 57?
53.
Okay.
53, Paddy Harrington.
Yeah.
So, yeah, only 3 years on the tour, the senior circuit. But it does validate a lot of it. It's like, I am a legend of the game of golf. Even to himself, like, he can show himself no matter where I've played, I've won. And the reason why this crowd is all out here and the reason why we have a U.S. Senior Open is because we've had accomplishments growing up on the regular, on the pro tour. And we've done all of these great things there. And now they're out here to see these guys that they've watched and they've been fans of. And you can now perform in front of them. That is a very validating feeling for Pádraig Harrington. Sucks for Stuart Sink because he was one shot away, playing some great golf the whole entire week. But it's just fun to see these guys still battle it out. The game of golf is something that you can play until you're fucking in the grave. And the fact that these guys, they may not be able to compete with the Sky Schefflers and the Justin Thomases and the Ludwig Obergs and all these guys now, but they now have a place to be able to keep having that power, that fire and those matches against all these guys that they've faced their whole entire lives. And to be able to still have those mano-y-mano, duels coming down in a major championship for Pádraig Harrington and Stuart Sink, that's awesome to me.
It is very cool. I mean, I love Pádraig Harrington. He's a legend. I mean, he's got 3 majors. Like his, in terms of how people feel about his career from an outside perspective, I mean, he's a legend. He didn't have to validate anything for anybody. But, historically, Pádraig Harrington has been the guy who is like always tinkering. Like you watch any video with him, whether he's teaching a kid or he's trying to figure out what to do with his own swing, like he's always a guy who's working on the golf swing. And I think he did an episode of Faraday. Do you remember that old show on Golf Channel where it was David Faraday's show, and he would just interview someone famous in the world of golf, whether it be Charles Barkley or Pádraig Harrington or whoever. And the Pádraig Harrington episode is very interesting because they go into his golf workshop essentially, and he's got all these toys and all these contraptions and all these things, and you're thinking, this guy won 3 majors. Like, what else can he do with his golf swing to improve it? Like, you've kind of reached the pinnacle in that regard. And he's just a guy who's never satisfied. He's always changing his swing, always trying to figure out a way to get better at golf. So for him to have a win like this and to have, the later part of his career be so successful on the senior tour, I think is really cool. And he's got to be super proud of that.
What happened with him and Roger Maltby?
This is a strange one. I read as much as I could on this, and I watched the clip. But during Pádraig's opening round on like the 15th hole, he blasted one into the trees, and Roger Maltby was the on-course reporter walking with his group, and everybody, everybody heads to where they think the ball is going to be. And while Pádraig and all these people in the gallery, everybody standing around is looking for this golf ball, I guess Roger Maltby did not help look for the golf ball, and that really pissed off Pádraig Harrington. Now, I think Maltby's side of the story is that he was getting word from his producer that he was going to do an on-course interview, so they were sort of prepping for that. But there is a clip, and I was going to send it to Brendan, but it's not a great clip because you can't really hear what they're saying. But it's basically them yelling at each other about, like, Pádraig's like, you can't just stand there when someone's looking for their ball. You have to help. Like, Roger, you've played golf your whole life. When someone is looking for their ball, everybody comes over and helps. And I don't think they ever came to like an amicable conclusion. It was just 2 guys who were arguing. Roger didn't help look for Paddy's ball.
The clip, it was hard to kind of hear. I thought Paddy was being kind of in the wrong. He was in the wrong there, I thought.
You think so?
I was going to say kind of being a dick, but I don't want to be that harsh. Like, you hit it there. I don't know. Is it really on Roger Maltby to like, is that the reason why it was like harder for you to find your golf ball, or is it because you like tugged one into the trees? I mean, we've dealt with this with Riggs sometimes where he gets mad at us for not looking for a golf ball, and we'll always be like, yeah, I mean, of course it's like a nice gesture, but it's not like a requirement for us to go up on top of that hill. Like, just hit the fairway, or like we're a bunch of buddies out here, just like drop the ball and let's move it on, take a stroke and let's go.
It is.
It's not like I didn't hit it there. I don't give a fuck. And that's not supposed to be everyone's mindset, but like there's certain situations where like you can't help, and of course it's a courtesy. It's a courtesy just like anything else. Sometimes like people forget to open up a door for someone or something. Like, I don't know. It's not like you don't have to get yelled at. I mean, he got yelled at. He's like, you've been playing golf your whole life, and you don't know to look for that golf ball. And Roger Maltby's sitting there being like, what? He kept leaning in and being like, what? Like, I'm fucking what do you want me to do? I'm fucking working.
I hear you. And I think courtesy is not a strong enough word for what it is. Because I do think if you're out there playing golf and a situation like this arises, you 100% should help that person. Like, it's not a law. It's less than that, but it's more than a courtesy. Like, you should be over there helping. I'm not saying that Roger Maltby was fully in the wrong, but I understand where Pádraig is coming from, because as you alluded to, the closest times our crew has come to like actually yelling at each other is when we don't help look for each other's balls. So like, it's clearly something in the golf world that has more meaning than you would think if you just explained to someone. Like, if you explain to somebody who doesn't play golf and you're like, yeah, this guy hit his ball way left and he got mad at us for not helping look, I think they would almost come to the conclusion that you came to, where it was like, well, that fucking guy hit the ball, so why would you have to go over there and look? I felt that way in the Ryder Cup this last week. Like, if the person I was playing against hit one way left and I was even pretty far right, you still just, even if you're kind of faking it, you just kind of drive by.
If you're in a match, for sure, like you always, that's where you extend the courtesy, where it's like, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure I help you find this golf ball. I think it's more like Roger Maltby had nothing to do with the event. He's announcing it. He's not playing against them. Who knows if he even saw the golf ball? I mean, the guy's got a headset on. It's the same like with us when we're in our videos or something. Like if we're doing a video to the GoPro and we're on the other side of the golf course and like I'm trying to hit, we're trying to keep up pace. We're not playing in the senior men's US Open. Like we're just trying to move this thing forward. And like if there's ever like a jawing because we didn't look for a ball that's like 80 yards off the tee, dead left, it's like, well, dude, I don't know, like re-tee it up and let's just fucking hit 3 from there. It just seemed like when you're getting frustrated about your own game, it like bleeds into like yelling at other people. And it seemed like Pádraig Harrington was like blaming that shot almost on poor Roger Maltby. It was just like, what? Like, dude, I was like working. Like, you want me to look? Like, what do you? Unless he was like egregiously standing right next to where the ball was and refused to look down.
Had his eyes closed. Like, I'm not looking.
When I first started with you guys, one of my bits was like old caddy eyes, because I used to just be able to find every single golf ball, and I still do. I actually have a pretty good skill of finding balls. I don't know what it is. I feel like I can sense where they hit trees. Maybe it's because years of hitting trees, but you can sense like where they fall and I always have a good line on them. So, I mean, I do genuinely like to look for golf balls if I'm around in the area. It's just like, I guess my main point, and like hopefully Brandon doesn't clip just the part where I said like you don't look for golf balls, but like I think it's more the idea that the person that hit it into the shit tends to bleed their frustrations into people around more than like me saying I don't want to look for it. You know what I'm saying?
I fully agree
like,
with
even
that.
Even when we're looking for it, you can feel that fucking heat where it's like, I don't know if I'm gonna find this. I'm gonna help you, but it's like I didn't hit it here, man. Like, and then sometimes you got to call it and be like, all right, like you want to just drop, and then other people are like, well, I hit it here. We're gonna keep looking. It's like, all right, fucking knee high shit.
I agree with what you're saying. It also
I'm also the guy when I hit it to the shit, and this is probably bad. Like I'm always like apologetic to everyone. I'm like, don't look for it. It's gone. Like guys, it's gone in here. Like I look for a second, and I'm like, I'll just drop on the fucking other side, and I'm taking a stroke, or I'll go back to the tee. Whatever you want me to do, dude. What do you want me to do out here? You want me to go back to the tee? You know what
there
I mean?
is like a little bit of, like I said, you could, like sometimes when I'm helping someone look for the ball, I'm giving a 0.5% of actually helping. like it really is more. Almost like the gesture of it, where you're just,
which is a shame. It is a shame. A lot of balls get lost that way, you know, if you think about it. But everyone's doing it,
especially when like what happens to our crew. There's sometimes like 4 or 5 guys looking. Like I'll walk over there and I'll kind of kick the brush and like
you're looking.
I'm looking, but it's I'm not giving a full effort. And I think overall I think Pádraig is probably in the wrong here, but. I think if Maltby had just sort of like kicked his feet a little bit and like was even looking down, I think you avoid the whole thing. But you are right. The frustration of the player who hit the bad shot does spill over into the way that they treat the other people who, whether if they're looking for the ball or not, for sure. It was a weird one between Maltby and Pádraig. Two really nice guys.
Whenever someone's on the show, we always like say shit about the other people. So I mean, like Riggs isn't here. Like there was one time that we played Bethpage Black with my buddies and Riggs, and it was the second hole. If anyone knows the second hole at Bethpage, it's a dog leg left, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're also playing a public golf course, so it's like tee sheet is stacked, so you want to make sure that you're keeping up pace of play. And I remember it was me and my buddy Tom. We both I pushed one left, and Tom pulled one left. We were both on the left side, and Riggs had hit one dead straight with like a 3-wood. Basically up into like the third hole is what we like kind of envisioned. So it hit the trees and we had no idea kind of where it went. And we didn't even really see, this is kind of what he told us. Like, I think I blocked that area. We didn't really see it off the tee, which is always an issue.
Yeah.
When like you're looking through your bag or you're like looking for a club, someone swings, you didn't see it. You don't know exactly where it went. You thought you heard trees up there by 2 on the right, but maybe it's in between 2 and 3. And I remember like us having to look for our golf ball, and like you're looking, and then Riggs like had to drop a ball in the middle of the fairway, and he was like out of the hole and like took an X, and then like was almost like he was like pissed at like that no one saw the ball, and he had just met Tom, and Tom's like, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like I'm looking for mine over here. It's like every man for themselves right now. It's like the second hole, the bet page black. So there's certain situations like that where you're just like, is he supposed to give up looking for his while you're looking for yours? Like, who has the priority of looking for balls? And then is it like a search party, like you're going through a fucking cornfield? So no, it's crazy. It's crazy out there. The game of golf has some very interesting interactions with that, because like there is the unwritten rules, and if you don't abide them perfectly, a lot of times it'll tick some people off. And it's not just Riggs, obviously. There's a million people. I mean, Pádraig Harrington wanted to strangle Roger Maltby out there.
Right.
He was walking around. He was like on his toes, kind of looking at him. Roger Maltby was like, "What? What are you talking about?" He kept saying like, "I'm doing something." He kept pointing to his ear.
It would have been amazing if they had squared up, the two of them. Just like,
I'm sure people listening to this are going to get all up in arms about looking for balls and not looking for balls. We all know what we do out there. You look for golf balls. It's like, it's not a fucking life and death situation.
No, it's also a feel thing.
Fairways.
Like, everybody knows kind of the right thing to do. And
just hit the fairway.
Well, yeah. That really should be the main takeaway for guys at Pádraig's level and guys at our level. Just hit it in the fairway. And we don't have to have these search parties where you're kind of pretending to look and the other guy's getting mad because people aren't looking. It's just hit it in the fairway and we're good. You want to do voicemails?
Yeah, we got to do voicemails. Listen, it's a 4th of July week. We're kind of, hitting this part of the year where there's not much going on right now in the game of golf. Obviously, we just talked for 45 minutes of it, but you start to exhaust all the storylines. You want the Open to come around, and you want this Ryder Cup to start to, rev up. That's really what it is. A lot of this is just getting to those big moments right now. It's not to say like the Rocket freaking Classic isn't, the biggest tournament of all time, but it's not. And, I didn't really watch much golf this weekend. I had to host a party this weekend at my house. My godson's first birthday. We hosted it. We had 65 people in the backyard. That was a lot. We had a tent, the whole deal. Miss Rachel came. It was like...
What do you mean she came?
It's a woman that looks like Miss Rachel that sits with the children, and she just reads them books. And
Wait. I know who Miss Rachel is. Miss Rachel is the really popular...
There's women out there now charging $150 an hour to just be Miss Rachel.
You're kidding.
Sorry. $300 an hour.
You're
kidding. You hired that person?
$150 for a half hour to come back there and be like, "Hi,
what?
Hello."
Bro, you could have got Mr. Jerry on the cheat, brother. You could have gotten him to fly out and do it.
The kids lost their minds, though. They lost their minds. It was like seeing freaking MJ walking out of the fucking Bulls fucking locker room.
Let me just get this straight. There are now Miss Rachel impersonators,
yes,
who people hire for what sounds like hundreds of dollars an hour.
She just came from a party before. She made a rack. She made a fucking $1,000.
What, dude?
That all day for sure. She did like 3 parties that day.
I don't even know what Miss Rachel looks like. Is it just like a
Where's the overalls, the pink shirt, and then she has like that pink headband?
We watched Miss Rachel in this house, and I saw it on Frankie's wife's story, and I messaged her. I said, "This is incredible. I didn't know you hired. I thought you guys like knew that person and they dressed up like Miss Rachel." Dude,
no, dude, this girl, no. She comes with props and everything, man.
Wow, I mean, you're gonna have to give me the number.
100%.
It's Rory's favorite person.
And the kids know as soon as she rolls up, they're like,
lost
"Holy
their
shit.
minds."
This is really interesting to me. What a stroke of luck that you just happen to look like this super, super popular kids show person. That's like blowing my mind a little bit.
Before we get to voicemails, I'd be remiss to not talk about the New York Islanders weekend.
What happened?
Draft.
Oh,
Islanders had the first draft pick, first time in a long time since John Tavares for me. There was a lot of talk going in about what they were going to do. There's a kid named James Hagens, who's from Hauppauge, is a Long Island kid. In every single interview he did, he said he wants to play for the New York Islanders. His dad went to all the Stanley Cup games. He was at the John Tavares return game that I was at with Dave, and where all the snakes were getting thrown onto the ice. He went there as a fan. Essentially, the Islanders, he's me with unbelievable hockey skill. Like, the Islanders were trying to draft Frankie Borelli, and which is, you could look at it 2 ways. It's like, it's a little too much, and it's like, he should probably just stop being a fan, or it's like the greatest story of all time, and you bring home the hometown kid, and it's like he's a Long Island legend forever, which I wanted that for him bad. I did. I'm not going to act like I didn't. So there's a lot of talk is like, do the Islanders take this kid at 1, even though he's not the best player, but he's definitely the best story? And there's a guy named Matthew Schaefer, who's the far and away best player in the draft. It was him and Misa, who's a who's a forward, and then you've got him as a defenseman, Schaefer. Islanders need defensive help bad. They're one of the worst defensive teams last year, giving up a ton of shots on goal. Ilya Sorokin's getting fucking peppered every single night. Seeing the most shots on goal in the league, it's ridiculous. So you need to just have an overhaul on defense. The Islanders trade Noah Dobson, my beautiful baby boy. They traded him to Montreal. He wanted to go there. There's now reports that he could have went to Columbus for an even better package, and he declined it, and he wanted to go to Montreal. So he'll receive some booze when he gets back to the UBS Arena for sure. Signed I think he signed like a 6 or 7 year deal for $9.5 million. I did all my work, all my intel. I was going into that trade knowing that the Islanders would never give him $9.5 million, and I know that was kind of a thing that people were shocked when they saw that number. I'll tell you this: he had a lot of good stats. I saw that sewer rat 6'10" Barstool tweeted at me saying, remember that guy?
I do, yeah.
Saying something like, he did all the stats. Like, this guy's like this, the whole deal. Right-handed shot. Like, he's a D-man. He's an all-star. The whole deal. Noah Dobson, love the guy. He manned the power play. It was his power play for 2 straight years. New York Islanders have the worst power play in the history of the game for 2 straight years. This guy takes all the pucks into the zone, especially with Matt Barzal being hurt. Matt Barzal only played 30 games last year. Noah Dobson needed to be the guy that was going to take the puck, all the entries. He was going to man the power play. He was going to be the guy. He's the quarterback. He's at the point. 2 straight years, it was his power play. He had 2 goals on the power play. This guy can't find the fucking back of the net if it smacked him in the face. Just could not get pucks to the net. Not even in secondary assists. The guy had 30 points this year, 34 points this year. A huge drop off from last year. You can miss me with all that stuff. You can miss me with all of it. $9.5 million. Aaron Ekblad's not even. You know what I mean? Like there's guys out there. $9.5 million is like a 5th highest paid D-man in the league. You could have him, Montreal, and I'm sure I'll eat my words. I'm sure they'll beat us in a playoff series, and he'll fucking score the game winner. And you'll play this for the rest of my life, and you'll say that I said that he wasn't worth it. I thought he was great. I just thought there was a number that we could have got to that wasn't $9.5 million. That's all I'm saying. He wanted $11 million. The Islanders wouldn't give him that. Long story short, they go into the draft. They end up getting 3 draft picks. They tried to package the 16th and 17th pick that they got from Montreal for Dobson for James Higgins. They tried to trade those picks to Boston. They tried to trade those picks to Utah. Nobody took it. They wanted James Higgins. They got him in Boston. He plays in Boston for college, but he's staying home where he's been playing. This is like his new home now. He's been playing college there, and now he's going to be playing for the Bruins. They have Charlie McAvoy and James Higgins. They're basically the Long Island Gulls at this point. But I'm very happy with what the Islanders did. They had if you look at any single article regarding the draft, they got an A+ for the weekend. The 3 guys that they picked were far and away the 3 best value players you can possibly get. They got the best player in the draft, and then 2 absolute studs at 16 and 17 in Eklund, and then Aitchison, who's going to be awesome on the D. So I'm very, very excited. My dad's actually at the development camp right now, sending me pictures of Matthew Schaefer. He's just like sending me pictures because he just like went across the street and he's like, I'm just gonna go check that out. And as we're on this podcast, he's just sending me videos of Schaefer just like skating around. He's just zooming in on him. I'm like, are you allowed to be there? He's on the glass taking pictures of our number 1 overall draft pick.
That's awesome.
All I know is it seemed like Lil Frankie was happy about the pick, and that's all that I care about. That video was incredible that you put up.
1 shot at it. We had no rewind on that TV.
I was wondering.
1 shot at it. Like the pick is called, and I just turned the camera to him, and he laughed. And when it was over, me and Hannah were dying laughing. Watching that video over and over again, we couldn't believe that he smiled at that. There's no reason. I didn't even say anything that's funny. I'm like, you like that pick? He's like, yeah. Fucking kid bleeds blue and orange.
He's a star, dude. He's a star. Yeah, I'm sure you got a lot of like, because the Islanders, they haven't won a cup in a while. At least that's my understanding.
Yeah, 83. Yep.
It's like, all right, now little Frankie's involved in this.
That was a good start. Like
I agree
to have that was his big moment of his life so far with the Islanders, right? Like Daddy's been on camera a little bit with the Islanders, and it's all gone bad. People had thrown my hat, and they've been telling me to go fuck myself in Boston, and everything ends in misery. His first kind of lights, camera, action moment was all smiles. Number 1 overall pick. He's laughing. People love the video. Like, this is all good stuff now. Good juju's coming around with Frankie the Fourth.
True, because he could have just started bawling.
Wailing.
right? Like, and then that's like, fuck.
My godson, baby Jack, yesterday was his birthday, and so they had the party, and then they came over, and all their gifts are at our house, and we're giving. And he hadn't really. He's going to be an Ohio State fan because my brother-in-law is an Ohio State fan. He's a Mets fan,
Okay.
and he's a Jets fan. It
Okay.
could be Jets or Giants, depending on what if Grandpa Don's going to make him be a Giants fan or not. But he never really made his allegiance with hockey yet, and I'm always giving them shit because Nick's not the biggest hockey fan. But Casey's a huge Rangers fan. So I have this internal struggle of like, do I want to keep pressing on because I want to take baby Jack to Islander games with Frankie. They're going to be around the same age. It's like, come on, like we can be all Islander fans together. But she fucking hates the Islanders. She thinks they're gross. She thinks that they're despicable. She's a huge Rangers fan. So is Hannah, but I've converted her. She won't like that I said that, but she's basically been converted. So Jack has never really marked his territory, whether it's Islanders or Mets or Rangers yet. There was no shirt that was bought for him. There's no hat. I never pressed anything on it. But yesterday, he got his first Rangers shirt. 1 year old, got his first Rangers shirt. And they showed it up to him, held it up to him, put a Ranger hat on him, cried like you wouldn't believe, wailed. And I'm sitting in the back. I was like, that's right. That's my boy right there. He knows. It hurt. It actually physically hurt him.
Right.
So we'll see. I haven't won that battle yet, but I'm starting to recruit. If the Islanders listen to this, man, we're small, but we're mighty, and we're trying to recruit. It's hard on this island, man. There's a lot of Ranger fans out here. A lot of Ranger fans.
Yeah, but it seems like
it's like 6 million to fucking 500,000. I don't even know what the number is. If I had to guess, I think it's that big of a disparity.
I run into more Ranger fans on Long Island than I do Islander fans, oddly enough. But I mean, it's because our parents all came from in there. At least
that's what I'm saying, though. I honestly think there's millions and millions of more Rangers fans than Islanders fans.
Probably hundreds of thousands.
No,
there's not that many people. I think
there's 9 million people on Long Island, right? I mean, including fucking Queens and Brooklyn, which people don't like to do. So let's just do Nassau County and Suffolk County. I think there's like 3.5 million people.
Yeah, could be.
I'm talking 2.5 to 900,000.
And they're all pretty much from the city. The Islanders need like your generation, our generation, to have kids and then grow up Islander.
The problem is that the Islanders came around in 1972. So anyone that had that base of watching sports, their grandparents essentially only could watch the Rangers. So as that got passed down, an expansion team popped out of nowhere on Long Island. So you either made the change because you weren't that big of a Rangers fan, or you never watched hockey before and you're like, all right, I'll just claim this as my team. But aside from that, everyone was a Rangers fan. That's the only team you could root for.
Exactly. So it should be all in due time. It's honestly,
you also need success.
You need success.
True. That helps a ton.
Is where they all came in, and then now it's been
right. Like if the Islanders win like a cup or two, then there's like real excitement around it, and you can start recruiting people. Some guys who are kind of on the fence, like it sounds like a little Jack, although it sounds like he hates the Rangers, but you can just be like, oh, that team's winning. Like if a team is bro, that's how I ended up being like a Dallas Cowboys fan as a kid. I'm from Cedar Rapids, Iowa, but they were dominant. Emmitt Smith, Troy Aikman, Michael Irvin, Deion Sanders. Like they were ripping up the fucking league, and I was like, "Oh, I'm just going to be a Dallas Cowboys fan." So success will get you a ton of fans.
Fucking hate the Rangers.
Your wife is not an Islander
fan. I know, and Jack's not going to be an Islander fan. This episode is brought to you by Brex. Are there any finance folks listening? Well, you better listen up because we've found something that you'll love as much as the excitement of golf's major championships. Meet Brex. It's a modern finance platform built to give you both control and speed. With a corporate card, banking, expenses, and travel all in one place, Brex ensures that the best companies can manage company spend, automate expenses, and get every dollar to the right place. This has earned them the trust of 30,000 companies, from fastest growing AI startups to global enterprises. In fact, we here at Barstool Sports are proud Brex users. I'm telling you, it sounds ridiculous to say that we are proud expense report system users, but we are, because I talk this up even at birthday parties when I'm sitting in the back, I'm having a sandwich, we're sitting under the tent. They're like, how's work going? I'm like, I got to tell you something. Work has been so much better since we switched over to Brex, because when I used to have to do my expense reports, it was daunting. It felt like there was a weight laying on my chest that I knew was looming in the distance. I'd have to fricking do all these expenses, and it was going to take me forever to put all these categories in. And no, Brex, you take a picture of the receipt and it does it all digitally for you. Everything's itemized automatically. It goes right in. And then when you put a bunch of your different receipts in there, it sends you a notification that this is how much you're getting back, and this is when you're getting it back once it's approved. It's amazing. We absolutely love Brex here at Barstool Sports.
Yeah, if you work at a company and are in a position to implement an expense system, go with Brex. It is number one. We've used other ones in the past, and it takes forever to do one expense report. With Brex, you do it seamlessly. It's fast. Like Frankie said, you take a picture of the receipt. It auto-fills a ton of it. You got to fill out a couple of things, then bang, you submit it, and it's on its way. Brex is the best.
You can learn more at brex.com/grow. That's Brex, BREX.com/grow. Truly Unruly Lemonade combines the high alc fun of Truly Unruly with everyone's favorite lemonade. Lemonade let loose. 8% ABV, 100% delicious. 4 supercharged lemonade flavors like Bumpin' Blue Raz, OG Original Lemonade, Punched Up Pineapple, and Wild Pink. My favorite is that Punched Up Pineapple right now. I thought it was the OG Original Lemonade last week. I had a bunch of Punched Up Pineapple this weekend at that backyard party that I was talking about during the show. Fantastic. Very, very refreshing. Really packs a punch. And that's why I like the Punched Up Pineapple, Trent.
Oh, yeah, these are delicious. I mean, Riggs is out at the Vegas Barstool Classic right now. I bet these are flowing. They've been flowing all year at the Barstool Classic. They do pack a little bit more of a punch. People love them. People have a great day out there on the golf course. Truly Unrulies. They are delicious and they are fun.
It's the official hard seltzer of Foreplay. Level up your lemonade with Truly Unruly. Find Truly Unruly lemonade at a store near you or visit www.trulyhardseltzer.com. Voicemails are brought to you by Truly from the gallery. As always, Truly Unrulies. We had a bunch of Truly Unrulies. I saw so many people walking around with them in the back. It's funny when you get to tell them, like, oh, by the way, those are 8%ers. And they look at it and they're like, woo! And they're just like, they didn't know. And they're like, whoa! You know, I've had 2 of these. Let's go. Let's get that karaoke bumping. So Big Don walking around with them. I'm like, Truly Unruly. He's like, yeah. I'm like, an 8%er. He's like, oh, shit. He kind of like cheers me. I'm like, let's go. They loved them.
Big Don.
Hi, my name's Elijah. I had a question. I'm a guitar player in Tulsa. I took lessons for 2 years in childhood, and I feel like it did more harm than good. Kind of put me in a box, and I had to kind of work away from certain things I was taught to kind of develop my own style and play a little more free. I took up golf 2 years ago, and I'm in the 90s most days. My lowest score is 87, so I'm still just kind of beginning. And my question is, would lessons be in that same vein of kind of putting me in a box? Should I just continue to work on my swing, or is that dumb? Would lessons on hitting better iron shots help me and give me better technique to start shooting lower as I progress? Wanted to know your thoughts on it. Love the show. Thanks, y'all.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I mean, sorry, I'm eating a 1 bar. I think he's thinking of the guitar thing is interesting because it seems like he's thinking of it backwards. Like, he's saying that the lessons put him in a box and then he had to kind of break away from that and learn to play a little bit more freely. But the lessons laid the groundwork to be able to then find your own kind of sound and go freely, which is what I would say golf lessons would do. And golf lessons even more so than playing the guitar. Playing the guitar is an expression of your personality. It's an expression of what you hear in your brain and like how can you maneuver your way around the strings and all the chords and like what can you kind of make on your own. But you need to know all the chords going into that, which is why those lessons early on are so important. I'm a huge music fan. I play the drums. I know chords and I know what guitar riffs should sound like, but I can't physically play them. I would need lessons to then express my, music ability to the world, which is kind of what this guy's saying. Like he needed to find his own kind of style. So I think lessons at the beginning are massively important. You just got to have that structure and then you build off of that. Like no one can just, unless you're fucking like, I don't know, an unbelievable prodigy just picks up and learns how to fucking start stringing guitar. You got to learn.
I would even say I'm sure Jimi Hendrix knew at some point he got taught like the basics and then rebelled against it and was like, I'm going to do this a whole different way.
The basics aren't like, the lessons aren't saying this is how you should play the guitar every single time. Like, I mean, you're learning like very rudimentary, skills. It's very simple stuff. And then it's on you to like create your own sound. That's what makes the greats the great. So I think he's kind of looking at it backwards. I think those are really, really good, stepping stones to build off of, especially in the golf swing. Like, if you've just gone out there and swung the golf club, you're kind of compounding a lot of the wrong bad habits as you keep going on and on and on. If you don't know, I say this a lot to the people that come out on Barstool Golfs from the office that get frustrated when they do like 1 9-hole video with me. I'm like, oh my God, I'm just not hitting it good. I'm like, you don't know the game yet. Like, you need to be taught the game. I even say this with my dad. Like, he'll hit like bad shots, not because the skill wasn't there. It's because the setup and all of the technique set him up for failure.
Right.
So like, he'd be in a bunker and the ball would be off his back foot. And I'm like, Dad, like, to hit that shot successfully, it's like a miracle. Like, you got to put it in the front foot and open up the club face and then swing however you want. But like, at least you now know, because I gave you a mini lesson, that that's how you're supposed to at least get the ball up in the air. Like, you need to have the structure and the groundwork. I've said this very often to Trent. Golf should come with a fucking rules book, like an instructions book, like a board game. When you set up a board game and you're playing Monopoly or you're playing this, they tell you 1 through 10 how to set up and how to play the game. If you had an instructional list that said, all right, I'm in the bunker, let's go to number 7. All right, number 7 says when you're in a bunker, you open up the club face and you put the ball on your front foot. That's all it's going to say. At least you're set up for success. Hey, on a drive, if you want to hit the ball a little bit lower, tee it up a little bit lower, put it in the middle of your stance. Oh, if you're trying to hit a drive really far, you're trying to get a draw, put it in the front of your foot, stand farther away from the ball. There's certain things that these guys don't know. So this guy, Elijah from Tulsa, needs to sit with someone at a driving range and learn these things. Hey, this is where the golf ball goes. Let them line you up. Put the fucking markers down. This is where it should feel like you're hitting the ball every single time. Get that club face square. You can swing however you want. You can swing like Jeff Ogilvy, you can swing like Stuart Sink, you can swing like Tiger Woods, you can swing like Bryson, you could swing like fucking who's our knee guy, Matthew Wolf. You can do whatever you want as long as you get back to that center point. It doesn't matter. You can swing your swing. So yeah, I think the lessons are huge, Elijah. I think you should go get lessons and you should get the groundwork. You'll be a better golfer than 90s if you just learn the game of golf. This is where you use a pitching wedge. This is where you bump and run. Those things are huge.
I totally agree. And then once you know the basics, you can start, like when you're practicing, you can start messing with it. Like, what happens if I backfoot a pitching wedge? What happens if I backfoot a 56 degree? What if I put it here? What if I put it there? Like, then you can start experimenting. But if you don't have a foundation of what you're supposed to be doing, you're going to be totally lost. And I mean, we've been advocates for golf lessons on this podcast basically since its inception, because you don't know what you're doing wrong if you've never had somebody tell you how to do it the correct way. So even if you take a golf lesson, you take one golf lesson, and that's going to be enough for most people, where you're just like, this is what you're supposed to be doing. Here's a foundation. And then it's up to you to figure out how to make that work with your swing and how to make yourself a better golfer. I think everything you said is correct. If you just learn the foundation and you learn the basics of, I'm under a tree. How do I get, how do I punch something out of here? Like, those things can help you on your journey to becoming a better golfer. And you can learn all that in a couple of lessons with somebody who knows what the fuck they're talking about.
And the grip is so important.
Very
grip
important.
is very important. It's something that people overlook all the time. I don't even know if I have a good grip. It's something that I kind of want to go see someone about, but I'm nervous that it's going to mess my whole entire game up. I know Francis had a grip change, and it took him a couple months to get through it. And now he's playing some of the best golf of his life. So the grip really gets your club face back to square more than you think. Like, it's you see Scotty Scheffler, the best golfer in the world, work on his grip every single time. He holds the club with the one hand in the perfect spot, holds it up in the air, and makes sure he grips it exactly the way he was taught, and he does it the same way every single time. And he swings his swing, and the ball goes where it wants to go. Everyone should learn something from that.
You bought one of those things, didn't you? One of the grips?
I did, and I haven't used it.
Yeah.
I want to put one on a club and bring it to the range. I want to put it on like a 7-iron and just feel what it feels like to kind of hit balls like that. Because even when I grip it just on the grip, it doesn't feel comfortable. I know I'm doing something wrong because I go through gloves like crazy. And when I just played at the Ryder Cup, like I was developing a huge callus
Callus?
Callus.
right here on like my middle finger, which like we play a lot of golf. So I was like gripping it really hard and in like a weird spot, so much so that it was like rubbing up against my middle finger on the inside of my knuckle. I'm like, how is that happening? I play so much golf. Like, wouldn't all of my fingers be developed to a point where they're hard enough to like withstand the rubbing of I don't know 3 rounds of golf? Weird.
Like the first thing Tiller and I would work on was he was like grip. Like, and he would just, I would literally stand there for like an hour, what it felt like. I was out of shape and I still am. But he's like, just stand there and I'm just going to put your hands there. And it's the one point of contact you have with a golf club. Obviously that's going to be important. It has to be. So you might have to go somebody by your grip, but you know, you're playing okay right now. I don't know.
Yeah, 87 is pretty good. One thing I will say too, and you guys all have experienced it, and every pro I've been around, you might get worse before you get better.
For sure.
You might go backwards in terms of scoring, but it's all because that person is trying to make you hit the ball better and more consistently, properly. So that was something big with me. My swing was like super flat for the longest time ever, and then somebody was like, you don't use your hips or get to your front side at all. And I started hitting it better, but I started hitting it all over the map, so I just needed to keep working on it. So I got.
We're also the worst golfers in the world, which is always funny. Like, we're giving out tips. It's just more the mindset going in. Like, I've always been a better preacher of the game than an actual like student of it.
Of course. Yeah.
I do understand like where people need to go to get better. I personally struggle actually achieving it, but like I can see the path to success for people that do possess that skill. Like, you could see like the type of practice it would take and the type of approach that the game needs to score really, really well. I just personally can't fucking pull it off.
What do we got next here?
Let's do Porter from Louisville.
Hey, this is Porter from Louisville, Kentucky. Shout out to your boy, one of the editors. Just curious, we just got back from a banana ball baseball game. Completely different than normal baseball game. Different rules, exciting. I was just curious if you guys had an idea that would make golf more interesting, even if it's not the professionals playing, similar to how they do with banana ball. I don't know if that was what Liv was trying to do, making it more exciting, more accessible to fans, more fun fan experience. Just wanted to know if you guys had a plan to make maybe even like a creator cup type league that's more exciting for the fans and it's more geared towards the fan experience as opposed to just professional golfers hitting perfect shots.
Is he talking about Savannah Bananas?
Savannah Bananas, yeah, they do dances, they do splits. It's, Globetrotters for baseball.
I want to go to a Savannah Bananas game.
Oh, I do too. I think it's fantastic entertainment, especially if you have kids. It's a great way. They go to like all these little minor league ballparks. I actually think they sold out like a massive
They sold
stadium.
out Death Valley.
Dude,
Clemson.
Crazy. Like 100,000 people went to a Savannah Bananas game. And the answer is no. Like, you can't. No, there's nothing for golf. Like, to the level of the Savannah Bananas where it's like, like, people are going to be screaming and like, it's just the game is so much more boring than that. Like, baseball is like there's a winner and there's a loser. You're trying to strike the guy out. He's hitting a ground ball. They do a flip. They throw the guy out. Like, they've tried this in golf and they do this at golf outings. A guy will come on like what are those like what are those one wheel bicycles?
Unicycle?
Yep. The unicycle. He'll be on a unicycle like hitting a long drive and it's like it goes 200 yards and everyone kind of claps. Or, Tiger Woods hits little chips at like the TGR Foundation and like everyone kind of goes nuts. He's wearing the little microphone saying like, the wind's a backboard and like everyone goes nuts. There's nothing to do though. Like maybe the long drive league is like the closest thing where you got guys roided up, losing their fucking minds, screaming, hitting balls to the moon. That's like the only thing I can think of. But aside from that, like what can you do to church up golf? Golf's so boring and like cringy already. The fact that we think it's the coolest thing in the world is insane. We're mentally like we have something wrong with us mentally.
The only thing that came to mind, and it's not the same thing at all, is TGL. Where that's it's not obviously Savannah Bananas is like it is Globetrotters for baseball, so it's it's like it's like a play. You're watching a play. You're not watching an actual sporting event. But TGL is the most different thing we've had come across our desk in terms of golf in a very, very long time. So I don't know. I just, it's not, you're just never going to have something like that. Golf is not made for that.
Yeah, he referenced like a creator event. I thought it'd be a good time to be like, the Internet Invitational is going to be entertaining and like our form of entertaining.
For sure.
Yeah.
When it comes
Yeah, the Internet Invitational,
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely going to be still super competitive and there's going to be a lot of money on the line. But yeah, that's going to be certainly, depending on the kind of golf you like, but that's going to be super entertaining because it's going to be a lot of different talent levels playing golf for a lot of money.
Yeah, I think people are going to be stunned at the format and like what it does to certain people.
Same.
And kind of how you can get to the finale. You know, like it's not going to be what you're used to. I feel like it's going to be something totally different, and it's going to be great. We've really worked on the format for a while. I think that this is going to generate the most drama and like everyone kind of being in the mix, and it's going to be great. It's really, without giving out away too much, I think the format's kind of, it could be a miss, you know, it's something that we've never done before. But I think it's going to be a 100 out of 100 banger success.
I couldn't agree more. It's going to be awesome.
All right, Trent, this is one of your caddies from Hilton Head. I can't remember
Nick from Hilton Head. Here we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's going on, boys? Nick from Hilton Head here, a.k.a. Trent's caddy. Just calling, listen to the pod. Heard you guys talk about Rory possibly retiring. I have a different take on it. I think that Rory has a better chance of playing on the European Tour than he does on the PGA Tour, and I want to get your thoughts.
Yeah, that's my guy, Nick. He caddied for me 2 years in a row. RBC Heritage Pro-Am. He's the man. I love that guy. He's a stick. He's a stick, too. Rory playing more on the European Tour than the PGA Tour. I mean, isn't it? He's leaving Florida, right? Did I read that report?
Is he?
I think he's moving to London.
Oh.
Now, I don't know what that means for a super rich guy. Like, does that just mean he's going to keep his house here? And
Yeah, I didn't know that. I was kind of like disgusted by Nick's question. Like, why would he ever play on the European Tour and not just play it like the player? I mean, he just won the Players. Like, why would he not be on the PGA Tour anymore? But if you're not living in America anymore, it definitely makes that circuit pretty fucking hard. I don't know, man. He really only has to play the elevated events. So maybe he'll just be traveling around.
The McIlroys are reportedly ready to move into their new London home, with the family set to begin living there after the U.S. Open.
Wow.
But again, like when you're that rich, what's living somewhere?
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's an interesting one. I did not know that Rory McIlroy was moving full time to London. That's kind of the hub down there in Jupiter, and the fact that he was down there was always like, that's where professional golfers live, because they have to be able to make their way to all these different events throughout the year. I mean, you finish an event on Sunday, you go to the next one on Monday,
Right.
You know, and when he was in Jupiter, he's able to go home for a little bit, maybe even fly in on Tuesday, but like you're kind of in the mix. You're still able to go home, be at your home base. London, that's 8 hours, 9 hours each way.
I think that was a decent chunk of why people kind of thought and why we started to speculate about what's this guy's future look like. Because it's, you know, yeah, like you're saying, this Jupiter is the place. And if you're just going to be in London, London seems great. I've never been there. I would love to go, but it's not exactly like the golf mecca. So I don't know. Rory he's a never ending, interesting story. I just want to know what that guy's doing all the time. It didn't never reach Tiger levels of like we had said, like I want to watch Tiger go grocery shopping. I want to watch Tiger wash his car. But Rory is just like, I just don't know where his head's at any given time. And it makes him super interesting.
I'm just looking at these hypotheticals.
Oh, here we go. Let's do one more voicemail.
How's it going, boys? Connor from New York. Just had a fun thought. Would you take, for every mile that you walk on a given day, is $50? And to put it in perspective, you walk one a day, every single day all year, that's $18,250. How many miles a day would you do, or a week? And how much money do you think you could end up making in a given year? Given how much we play golf, I would imagine if we gave up the carts and walked 18 every day, we could probably make a good $200 to $250 a day, given the length of the course. Sounds like a good one. Have a good one, guys. Bye.
If I had this situation in my life, I would walk 10 miles a day. I really would.
How much is it?
$50 a mile. So if I walk 10 miles a day, that's $500 a day times 365. I'm making an extra $180,000 a year.
Just walking 10 miles a day.
Just
10
walking.
miles a day is a lot of walking.
All right, it's 20,000 steps.
steps.
Doctor recommended is 10,000 steps. So the doctor says you should walk 5 miles a day to be healthy. You just got to double up on that.
They recommend
1,000
5
steps
miles
is
a day.
5 miles.
That's like the very general number that everybody talks about. Is like if you walk 10,000 steps a day, that's really healthy.
And a golf course is what? Like, how many miles is a golf course?
Oh, you're going to walk. If you're walking
70?
and playing, you're walking a lot of steps, a ton. You're probably walking
17,000.
Yeah. So like 8 miles.
Yeah, I mean, this is a great way. I mean, you can make money and you can stay healthy. This is good stuff.
But if you look back at like, all right, let's really expose myself here in terms of like how much I've been walking. Like,
How many
bro,
steps?
on Sunday, 929 steps.
Woo-wee!
What is it, COVID again?
Bro, on Sundays I'm just doing nothing. I watched a bunch of Love Island yesterday. I watched a bunch of golf yesterday. I walked 929 steps yesterday.
God damn.
That's sedentary is the way the doctors would describe that.
Didn't leave the house.
Sunday I did 12,670.
When
12?
when was that?
Yesterday.
Damn, dude, that's a lot.
The day before I did 11,670. Just been moving, dude. I'm exhausted.
Yeah, I mean, my weekends are shot Saturday. I mean, at least I got the 4 digits, but 1,237.
Holy shit.
Oh, I walked 20,000 more steps than you.
This
You
guy's
make a lot more money than me in this hypothetical.
God damn. Well, there's a day I was sick last week. I did 1,050 steps. That's a little amount of steps. That's laying around doing absolutely nothing. The other thing too is I track it on my phone. So like even like that 12,000, I had my phone down for a lot of the day because I was playing music next to a Bluetooth speaker.
So it's way more.
So it's way more. I was running around like a maniac.
You'd make some coin in this situation.
I'd make some coin in this. I like that. I like this. I would take this.
There was a stretch where I was trying to do 10,000 a day, and it just depends on what's that,
Got to Frank the Tank.
dude, for real,
Like 600 days or something like that. I mean, how many days has this guy been going?
a lot. And it's if walking is, it sounds crazy. Like people think you want to be healthy, you got to run like 5 miles a day or whatever. But if you just go walk around a bunch, I mean, it's way healthier than what I've been doing the last 2 days.
I'm a big proponent of walking. Maybe walking with a little incline if you could get that in your life. That's how
I have seen that. I've seen that on TikTok. You put your incline up like just a little bit, and you immediately burn like way more fat.
Yeah, running's for the birds.
Oh, that's so bad for your knees, man. I got a big body. I can't. If I run, my knees are gonna be shot in the next 5 years. I got too much weight pounded on my knees.
I got an interesting thing coming up. I've got to get a colonoscopy this week. I don't have to get a colonoscopy. I am getting a colonoscopy this week. Getting cleaned out. So basically, I've had all this heartburn for like since I was like 12. I feel like it's just something that you just put off. Take a Tums, take a Pepsid, and you just like you keep eating red sauce, and you're like, let's just move this thing. You're puking in your mouth. So I go and see a gastrologist or whatever, gastrotologist. I don't even know, a gastro. And I'm like, yeah, I'd like to just get this checked out. They're like, oh, we can do an endoscopy. We can kind of put a camera down your throat and just see what's going on in your esophagus, and we'll just assess the situation. If we need to make any dietary changes, we will. But like, it's good. You're 31 years old. We should like check it out now. So I said, okay. And they're like, while you're out, because you got to get knocked out. While you're out, do you want us to just do a colonoscopy also? Just flip you all around, fucking plug you up, all the holes,
Yeah.
through the mouth, through the butt, spit roasting.
Just
So
put
I
cameras
said-
everywhere.
So I was like, sure,
Yeah.
I was like, I mean, if you want to buy me a dinner first, I mean, this is fucking crazy, but I will do it. Now I'm doing it I'm doing it actually Thursday morning, which I think even Trent Daddy might come see Frankie the 4th on Thursday. So you might see me all cleaned out.
Oh, I was wondering. Yeah, am I able to still stop by if you're like you're all
I mean,
plugged
you gotta
up?
give me a couple hours to like get my life back together, but I think by the afternoon I should be as good as new.
Then I'm in. I'm gonna come see a little Frankie boy.
Yeah, so that's happening Thursday morning. So Wednesday, and this is not the way I really want to spend my 4th of July week, but Wednesday, apparently, like, you can't do anything, like, eating-wise. You got to just drink water and have Jell-O and, like, all clears, and you just shit all night long. You just empty yourself out. It's supposed to be horrific. The prep is the worst part, I've heard.
Yeah.
That was my biggest question. I thought you had to take something too.
You gotta
to
take
shit.
some. Yeah, I gotta take it's like 12 pills, and you swallow them all down, and then you just are like in the Dumb and Dumber scene. You're just sitting there like, oh.
I'll be right out.
But it might like feel good though. No, I think
That's what I was saying. Like,
I
just
would
get cleaned out.
Can I just get the pills and the like? I don't want to get a colonoscopy right now, but can I just get like? I just need to clear the pipes a little bit.
But yeah, I mean, I'm excited just to get, I'm not excited, but like it's good to just get a baseline of like what's going on.
For sure. No, that's ultimately that's a good thing. Like,
Yeah. They say you don't need it until like 35, 40, but I said, you know what? Just give it to me, man. Give it to me. I like it.
You might like it.
This summer, the sun's out and so are the fresh cuts at Sport Clips Haircuts. It's the perfect place to cool off and watch some sports on TV while also getting a precision haircut from stylists who just get it. They've been specially trained to cut men's hair. They take your haircut to the next level when you ask for the MVP haircut experience. It comes with a hot steam towel and a 7 pressure point massaging shampoo that are sure to make you melt into the chair. And for this summer only, you can swap out the classic hot steam towel for a refreshing chilled towel. It's an icy alternative. That's the perfect way to defeat the heat. Sport Clips just gets it. They've got the games on the TV. They're putting ice towels on your neck and on your forehead. You're sweaty out there. You go in, you come out feeling refreshed. There's something about getting your hairs cut and you feel so refreshed. You're ready to just have that swagger back to you. You know what I mean? Maybe you're gonna go out. You're gonna go to a bar. You're gonna see some other folk. You're gonna see some people out in the streets. They're like, "Whoa, you look pretty good. You get a haircut?" Sure did. Sport Clips.
I was there yesterday. My hair is short because I was at Sport Clips yesterday. You download the app, get yourself in line. It shows you how long you need to wait before you head there. You get there, they put you right in a chair. They cut your hair. They had the Bartman documentary on yesterday, which was a bit of a tough watch, but they are showing tons of sports, tons of everything. You get the MVP treatment. They shampoo your hair. They hit you with a massage gun. Sport Clips, I'm there all the time. It's the best. Number one.
I want to know that our people are going to Sport Clips. Make sure you're sending us pictures of you at Sport Clips. I want to see your barbers. I want to see those smiles after you get that haircut. Show us those fades. Show us those number 2 trims. Show us the number 2 on the side with a little clipping on top. That's Sport Clips. It's a game changer.
You want to do one hypothetical and we'll get out of here?
Yeah, let me see what I got here. We'll go through the hypotheticals real quick.
Frankie loves this Reddit page.
Yeah, if not, we got Alex from Orlando, but we could save him.
We can save him.
I mean, Trent would sign up for this in a heartbeat. $1 million, you have to relive the same day for a whole year.
I mean, if it were my Sunday, that sounds pretty good.
I mean, the more you think about that, that's torture.
Yeah.
A whole year, same day. Truman Show.
Yeah, I thought 50 first dates, but I don't know if that totally checks out.
You might go crazy.
Actually, she does relive the same day. Yeah.
She does, yeah. But she doesn't know that she's doing it.
Yeah. Do you erase the memory?
I don't know. I think some of these, and that one in particular, you would be like, oh yeah, I'll just do that. And there is a chance by like month 3, you're in a loony bin. Like they're just like, no, it's over. Like I remember seeing one, it was like, it's like $50 billion, just some crazy amount. And they're like, could you every single day just be in a white padded room? And I think on the outset, you're like, oh, that'll be easy. But I think at some point you lose it and you think you start making up your own reality. And it's like, it's not a good situation.
You would have no idea what time it is or if the day passed or anything really, right?
Right. I think it would drive you insane. So I would say no to that one. He's just scrolling.
Just loves it.
It's so funny. A lot of these are just so ridiculous.
What is the Reddit page?
Just hypothetical situations. One was you're offered $500,000, but for the rest of your life, once a month, you get sucker punched in the stomach.
Wait, what? How much amount? What was it?
$500,000. But for the rest of your life, you have no idea when it's coming. You're just getting sucker punched as hard, and it says the person is reasonably fit. Just kind of fucking boom. It's like fuck.
And it's
Every
just
day.
one flat fee of
Just
$500,000.
flat fee. Yeah, you just
No, it's not enough. It's not enough.
You're getting one.
I got 30 years left on this planet. Maybe. Who knows? That's how many months and how many stomach punches. Like I'm going to develop an issue.
Right.
My
Well
internal
done.
organs are going to be.
You're getting 360 punches right to the gut.
You're gonna be pissing blood soon.
Oh,
Dude,
dude,
also
it
imagine-
ruins your week. And then all of a sudden, you only got 3 weeks a month. It's ruining everything.
Well, also, as you get older, like, all right, I'm 36 now, so like, I guess I could take a punch to the stomach probably. But think about me when I'm 75. That's gonna kill me. I'm gonna
yeah.
die doing that.
Oh yeah, you'll die.
You will die.
Yeah, maybe like a heart attack or something like that eventually.
No, 500 grand's not enough for that. Shout out to my dad, by the way. He turned 74 years old yesterday. Shout out to Gary.
Gary Ryan.
Yep.
Dude, your dad's birthday is June 29th.
Yeah.
So is mine.
No way.
Your birthday was yesterday?
My dad's birthday is June 29th.
Oh,
Is the same as Gary Ryan, it sounds like.
happy birthday,
No way. That's pretty crazy.
Rob Jones turned 60 yesterday.
Rob.
Rob
didn't know
Jones.
Shout out to Rob. Shout out to Gary. Shout out to all the dads out there.
Rob Jones. What's he hiding?
He's a
That
he
name.
Used to be a prosthetics. He used to make.
That's
prosthetics.
right. That's right. Dude,
He used to
someone
what?
randomly came up to me at like a golf event. Remember that a couple years ago and was like, "Oh, like Mr. Jones like had the best prosthetics on Long Island. Like if you needed a fake leg, like he was your guy." It's like insane.
He would have the craziest stories, dude. He'd be like, "What'd you do today?" And he'd be like, below the knee. So somebody's below the knee was, amputated." And I'd always be like, what was the story? And like most of the time it was like motorcycle accident, but
Yeah.
some of them were like shark bite. I'm like, fuck yeah.
Damn. Shout out to Rob Jones. Anything else you got there, Frankie Borelli? Or are we getting out of here?
I think we'll get out of here, man. I just want everyone to have a healthy and happy 4th of July. This is always it's a great time, but it's also a scary time. People start to get loosey-goosey with all the fireworks and the drinking and driving and all this stuff. And you just got to be safe. The reason we are able to do all this stuff is because we're alive and we're happy and we're healthy. And like that, you want to just keep that going. You don't want to go out fucking lighting up a freaking cardboard box of fireworks in the front yard and having them fall over and everyone turns into a fucking war zone. Sounds like a joke, but it happens every single year to some people, and it's a tragedy. Don't turn a happy weekend into a tragedy. That's my biggest thing.
I think that's a great message. Yeah.
Not to dampen the mood, but it's got to be said. And
I
hopefully
agree.
you guys all play golf and all the golf courses have fireworks going off and it looks like the Sandlot.
So like one night a year we could play under the lights.
One night of the year. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm done, man. My brain's kind of fried, as you guys can tell. This probably wasn't the strongest show of all time, but we'll get the crew back together. We're starting to work on more guests here. One of these days, we'll get those new cameras set up for the pod, which will be good. I've been working on those for the last, 6 months or so. So
Yeah.
we'll get those new cameras set up. We got some big things coming. Obviously, the Internet Invitational is taking up a lot of our time. We're ready to rock and roll, though.
Is the 25K match this week?
I was just about to say that. Yeah, that's
Oh
Wednesday.
shit, that's right.
Okay.
Briggs plays a guy for $25,000, and it comes out this week.
Your friend Kyle.
Your friend Kyle. Yeah, I mean the Hater series is really reaching a level of like major intrigue. People are really into it. The videos are doing well. I think even just like the idea behind them is starting to catch wind. You definitely saw that with the LPGA player that commented. Jenny Shin went on Twitter and said that she'd love to be able to play against one of these haters that said that they could beat the LPGA pros. Which, like, if this series turns into like, a place for people to hold grudge matches, like we're all in. We are absolutely all in on this. And just to give my piece, I know we said we were going to go. Any scratch golfer in the world is going to lose to an LPGA pro. I think.
I think so too.
I think pretty handedly.
Dude, they are so fucking good. You could play them from 7,000 yards, 6,500, 6,000. And if you're listening to this and you're screaming at me, being like, no chance. The zero at my club could dust an LPGA pro player. I say, challenge them and come on our channel and bring that energy because you will lose. They are incredible. They'll fucking fire a 64, no problem. At your home course, no problem.
I love it. I think it's a great idea, and I want people to do it. And it sounds like
Paige Baranek shoots like 68s with us. Like,
yeah.
what do you think fucking Lydia Ko's gonna shoot?
I hope. I mean, it sounds like the ball is rolling on this. Brandon might know a little bit more than I do, but like, I think. I mean, they put it out there, and the ball might be rolling in some way. I don't know when it's going to happen, if it's going to happen, but I think people would be very interested in a video like that.
Yeah, there's phone calls being made tomorrow.
Yeah.
Meetings
Hanging on
are meetings are being done to make sure that we can get this done. So yeah, the Hater Series, you got the $25,000 match, and then we've got this kind of brewing now. It's all good stuff. It's been a good year, and we also got some big announcements coming up hopefully soon, which will
Yeah.
be good.
Yep.
Yeah, and
So-
the 25K match isn't a one and done. I talked to Riggs a little bit about it at the Ryder Cup. We're gonna try and do a little bit more and kind of move it forward as well. So
Cool.
I love that.
Me
that'll
too.
be
Place for people to throw real cash down.
Fuck
exactly.
yeah.
I mean, the
So
Jersey
fun.
Jerry Dave fucking. How much was that for?
10K.
10K. That thing did a couple milli.
Yeah.
Yeah, Whit and Big Cat were very, very interested, being the gamblers that they are, in the 25K match. So they wanted to try and kind of move it forward and get involved if they could. So there's stuff going on there.
Let's go.
Fuck yeah.
Pedal to the metal. All right, fellas. Well, happy 4th of July, everyone. Happy birthday to America. And that's all I've got. Hit hard.
Hit it hard.
Hit hard.